And right now, speaking of sports world, the Cleveland Indians are dominating, really the city of Cleveland sports in general. You know, the Indians haven't lost since LeBron and the Cavs won the championship, so Cleveland's bumping right now as sports town, but 12 in a row by Cleveland Indians. How about it?
12 in a row by the Cleveland Indians. I'll tell you what, no one, I don't think, not even Cleveland fans, would have ever seen that coming. They thought they were going to be, they thought that God was giving them enough by allowing them to win the NBA championship, you know, to bring that home, and to win the finals there, which ended up being a really good finals that I probably really could have cared less about.
There you go.
I think that, you know, the city of Cleveland, now they finally have things going back. This may be so crazy as to go out on a limb and say maybe Johnny Manziel gets clean, but he's no longer.
He said he wanted to get sober. I don't know if you heard that.
I'm sure he did back, you know, a couple of years ago too, but it just hasn't worked out
Johnny
yet.
Manziel, what a disaster.
You know, you almost feel for him, and
That's
then
exactly what I said.
And then you look at, you know, Instagram posts from him and stuff like that, and
It's
you're
like, hi, Dad.
Wow, what a jag off.
Exactly.
So then you're like, I don't feel so bad anymore.
Exactly.
But going back to the Cleveland Indians, these guys are doing it with having, I think, 2 guys in their lineup that are hitting over 300, and then they're having guys like Tyler Naquin.
Mm-hmm.
Who is Tyler Naquin? And this guy's hitting 331 with 6 homers and 16 RBIs.
Yep.
I mean, and he's become like an everyday player for them. Where in God's green earth did this guy
So
come
what happened
from?
with the Indians is this season going in, I was high on the Indians, but I didn't think they could be a division winner. I still thought that the Royals were the division leader and they had to be knocked down, and I picked them. But Kansas City's been inconsistent with their starting pitching, and they're hurt. Moustakas, that injury hurts them big time.
Huge.
With the Indians, they lost 2 outfielders, one before the season started, Abraham Almonte, top talented, you know, young player, center fielder. He's gone for PED use, and then they lose Marlon Byrd because he's out for PED use, and now they give regular playing time to guys like Lonnie Chisenhall, Tyler Naquin, like you mentioned, young prospect who comes up, Rajai Davis. And what I'm getting at is these offseason moves to really, I mean, it's not technically a stopgap because, I mean, these guys are producing. And you look at a guy in particular, and I'm focusing mainly on the lineup. Everybody knows the rotation's the best in baseball. Mike Napoli. The addition of Mike Napoli to the Cleveland Indians has been so big, and he's been one of the main consistent contributors in their offense. It's just taken this Indians team to a new level, and I personally think it's their division now. Absolutely.
It absolutely is. I mean, when you're 47-30 and the next closest team is what, 5-6 games out? Yeah, I mean, you're doing pretty well for yourselves. And you talked about Mike Napoli. He's only batting at .239, but he's hit 16 home runs on the power numbers, 16 homers and 52 RBIs. And the guy, you know, there's just players when they step up to the plate, they look hitterish. And that's Napoli every time. You know, he always has a chance to hit a home run way out of the ballpark. And I think that just up and down the lineup for the Indians, they're dangerous.
Absolutely.
They're dangerous because, okay, so you have, let's say, you know, I'm looking at the lineup that they have tonight against the Blue Jays. Leading off, they've got Carlos Santana. Okay, he's
not a prototypical leadoff hitter, but he gets on base big time.
Yeah, he's got 4 stolen bases.
It's very unconventional, but he's producing.
Absolutely. Then you got Jason Kipnis. Now that's a guy, he's hitting pretty well.
Consistent.
He can hit for power. Lindor has been everything that they've wanted and more.
I could argue that Francisco Lindor is the best shortstop in baseball right now with his skill set. It's got to be in terms of combining defensive capabilities as well as offensive production and your skill set on the bases. I think Lindor does it all. He's better than Andrelton Simmons because Simmons is arguably the best defensively, but you combine the offensive numbers, he's not even close. Same with, and then the closest comp I could say is Manny Machado and Carlos Correa. Those 2 players are so electric, and I feel like Lindor, and what bothers me, if we're on this topic of Francisco Lindor, he's not even in the conversation in the All-Star game. He's not even top 5 in the voting category. I don't understand that. That's an atrocity. But yeah, as you were saying, this lineup is really picking it up, and Michael Brantley's hurt. He's been hurt all season.
And Michael Brantley's hurt. I mean, you just said it. He's not even in the lineup. But you just have guys, Rajai Davis. I'll tell you names that the White Sox never want to see. It's all of them. You know, Rajay Davis for sure. Juan Uribe, he gets hit
Legend.
in the freaking balls.
He's got it.
He's still gonna hit home runs against you. I mean, this is a very, very good lineup right now for Cleveland. And you talk about Francisco Lindor not even being in the conversation as of right now. I think it's because, one, people are underrating him because of the fact that he's with Cleveland.
Sure.
I really think that's probably number one. And two, it's probably because he's so new. They're like,
Second year in the
we
league.
don't want anyone new. We don't want anyone that's, we're going to go for Carlos Correa because we've heard his name 5 times. We've only heard Lindor's name 2 times. So we're going to go with the guy we've heard of more. And then it's just Lindor's name has not been all over MLB Network yet. That's what I'm trying. These guys, how do they get famous? You talk about them.
Sure.
You just talk about them. Who's on SportsCenter a lot of the time? I'm hardly ever seen any plays by Francisco Lindor. Hardly ever. Do you want to see a Manny Machado play? You're going to see it. You want to see Andrelton Simmons? I don't even see Andrelton Simmons as much, but
Yeah, because the Angels are bleh.
well, exactly. And Cleveland is. When you talk about Cleveland, just the context that you put it in, it has a bad connotation because it has for so long,
Right.
but not anymore. The Indians, if they continue to keep up this streak, which I think they're going to, not saying that necessarily they'll keep up the streak of winning 13 in a row,
Right.
but of playing well and winning series, absolutely.
Well, they have a chance to tie their franchise record in wins in a row at 13 if they win tonight. And what I really like about this Indians team and what they needed a run like this. They could separate themselves because for the most part they were hovering around 500. Oh, are we a good team? Oh, are we going to be a fringe playoff team? Whatever it is, they're a good team. And now they're hitting their stride. This like I said, this win streak really catapulted them into the position where they're comfortable. Now they can fix the bullpen. They're going to need some help, especially in the back end. Cody Allen as a closer, kind of. Not that lockdown guy you'd like to see in a 9.
He's not.
So he gets knocked around a little bit. You don't really want a pitch to contact type of player as a closer, but you're going to take what you can get there. Brian Shaw, they use him a lot in the 8th, and he's been very bad.
Yeah, yes, he
Quite
has.
frankly,
for lack of a better term, he's been terrible.
So I see 2 things with the Indians right now. They need bullpen help, and everybody needs bullpen help. It's just a fact of life in baseball. But they need another bat, and a lot of people are putting Jay Bruce in that category as a guy that the Indians can go after. And he's on a lot of different teams' radar. He's even on the White Sox, which we're going to touch on soon. But going back to it, they're going to get enough production from what they have right now, and that starting rotation is so good that they're going to be able to carry them for the rest of the season as long as they're healthy.
Yeah, they absolutely are. And when you look at a team like the Cleveland Indians, and you go, oh my gosh, how have they been able to get on a streak like this, and how have they been able to keep it up? And they look like a team, they're not ready to be done with this streak. And you can go and you can look and you can go, well, they just played the Atlanta Braves. Well, the Braves are still a Major League Baseball team. You still have to beat them. They still have good players. They still have Freddie Freeman. They still have some good pitching. Some. When I say some, I mean about 1 or 2. But you still have to play well.
Sure.
You have to bring your best game every night. And that's what the Cleveland Indians have done. And you talk about the starting pitching. The starting pitching for Cleveland will carry this team throughout the rest of the season. And why is that? Because these guys have been so dominant. When they lost, was it Carrasco for
he was on the DL.
Couple of months? You could see that. They weren't playing their best baseball then because you had a gap. You had a gap in your starting pitching. But now you have Corey Kluber, who I think is only 8-7, but still has pitched well. You've got Carrasco, Salazar, Tomlin, Bauer.
Yeah, these guys
up and down the starting rotation.
You think you can win every night, and they have
good.
been. And with Corey Kluber, he's your worst pitcher out of the bunch this year. And that's crazy to say because he was AL Cy Young candidate last year.
I know.
He's dominating. Carlos Carrasco is fantastic. Danny Salazar, young arm, 27, electric. Josh Tomlin stepped up. He's been huge. Trevor Bauer started in the bullpen, but you knew they wanted to implement him as a starting rotation piece, and he also throws in the mid-90s. Very powerful arm. I really like what the Indians have going for them right now, and I'm looking forward to them because they're my team in the American League, honestly. I like to say I'm a closet Browns fan, but I'm full-blown Indians fan. I want everybody to know that. But yeah, go Indians. We're good there.